so here we go.
It wasn't.
So 4-8, all we're trying to do today is get through some 4-8 homework. So before break, if you don't remember where we were, there was a 1 to 25 that we turned in the day before break, a class ago. Today what we're trying to turn in is 27 or 26 to 46. If you have questions, I'll do them. But I'm just going to make up a problem and do it just to illustrate what in the world we were doing before break. So 2 assignments ago, they give you one line like this and you would just graph it. So can somebody remind us of how we would go about graphing this?
Up 4.
Go up 4. So we always do the plain old number first. So up 4, make ourselves a dot. And then we use the slope.
Down to right 3.
This is going to send us down 2 because it's negative, but right 3, always go right. Down 2, right 3. If you want to get a better line for a test or something, I might say go down 2, right 3 again. Go down 2, right 3 a couple times. Get like 3 or 4 of those down 2, right 3 dots so that your ruler could line them up. And then we would draw a line. But we've got 2 choices to make. First choice is
Dotted or
dotted or solid. In this case,
Dotted.
dotted. When do we do solid?
Whenever it's great.
If it has an equal sign. This didn't have an equal sign, so we're going to go dotted line. And then because it's a greater, we'd shade in above. So the first homework, we would just shade in right here, all above this. You might use colors, you might just scribble, you might do a masterpiece of art. That's up to you. But we want to get above that line. For now, I'm just going to write a little reminder arrow to get above that line because I've got more work to do. So the day 1 of this assignment, I just colored in and be done. Question about that? Day 2, we have to take this into account. So if we do this line as well, where are we headed?
Down to.
Down to. From there, because of the slope,
Up 3, right 4.
up 3, right 4. Type of line?
Solid.
Solid, because we got an equal sign. And then because that one's less,
Below it.
I want to get below it. So out of zone A, B, C, or D, which one is above the dotted but under the solid?
C.
It would be C. So we would shade in only that 1/4 part of it. If I wanted to throw in a 3rd line, I could. If I wanted to throw in a 4th line, I could. You just have to be careful where you're shading. The more lines there are, the more you have to have a little thought process about who do I want here. But that's what we did. 26 to 46 is what I'd be trying to grab now. Question about this? Question about anything in the 26 to 46 that anybody ran into any kind of trouble with?
What page is that on?
It was on 196.
196.
So 196 today, brand new, is 26 to 46. 196 day before break when some people were already starting to sort of cash out, and I didn't get many of them. There was a 1 to 25. Don't know if you caught up at all or not. We'll see soon enough.
I got a lot.
Anybody need any help with anything from 196?
Can it be like old, like the first one too?
Sure, yeah, if you had something that got you stuck on that first one. 17. Okay, so 17, the first thing you'd want to do would be to get the y alone. So since the y is adding the 5x, you would want to do the opposite and subtract the 5x. Are you with that? Yeah, that's fine. So I've got 3x minus 2 less equal 5x plus y. For us to graph, we want the y alone. So for me to get this y alone, I've got to get rid of that adding 5x. So I'm going to subtract 5x. That would make us down to negative 2x minus 2. You okay with that?
Yeah, whatever you're doing.
The y needs to be alone to be graphable, and we're always just doing opposites. So since that's trying to add, you've got to subtract. And if you subtract 5 from 3, you're down to negative 2. You good with that? That clicked in? Okay. Then we do our graph. Both numbers are negative 2, so that takes some of the guesswork out of it, I guess. The first move would be to go down 2. That's because of that one. This takes us down 2. This, if I want a fraction, I could put it over 1. How's that going to move you now? If it's negative, we're going to go down the 2. The bottom always sends you right. So this is down 2, and then right a square. That's okay? Would you go solid or dotted line with this symbol? Solid, because there's the equals. And then this one's a little deceptive. Anybody chime in here? Why is this one a little bit deceptive on the over-under? Because it's like written backwards. So we're used to seeing less than and shading in below. But everything has to be done from the point of view of the Y. From Y's point of view, because the alligator or Pac-Man or whoever is eating the Y is actually above. So we want to go above, because the Y is the bigger thing. We ended up writing it backward by accident. Anybody else 196, old or new? So here's upcoming events, and I can keep leaving back through the homework if you want to. What's due tomorrow is a practice quiz that I gave you before the break, and my counsel was not to really work ahead too soon on that. If you started to do that like yesterday or today to work ahead, that's not so bad, but if you did that like 10 days ago, you probably went too far ahead too fast, because you might not remember that you even did that. But the things that are also represented on the sheet, there was a homework on 182. 182 had 4 words involved. Does anybody remember the 4 words from 182? Any of them? Consistent and inconsistent. Dependent and independent. Anybody remember what was the difference between consistent versus inconsistent?
One was like nonsense or parallel.
One was nonsense or parallel.
I think that was inconsistent.
That was inconsistent. Consistent meant you could
Get a solution.
get a solution. What was the dependent-independent breakdown?
Dependent was the same thing.
Dependent was 2 of the same thing. Independent was they were all different. That makes this quiz that I'm talking about. There's another homework too that's out there that was 177 word problems. The 177 word problems had 3 equations to solve for 3 different variables. If anybody's hung up on any of that, I've got still 30 minutes. I can help with that if you want to hit anything on the board. Is there anybody that did any catching up that had any 177 or 182 or 196 uh-oh moments that you want me to try to get you going on anything on those pages? Okay, so sheet, I'd say just let's get that started. We've got half an hour. That should be doable in half an hour if you want to do it.